This is Michelle Hughes from Ageless and Timeless. Today's podcast is brought to you by Water and Wellness. Recently, I had the opportunity to visit Water and Wellness at their offices, and I can tell you that as far as you and I are concerned and our health is concerned, this is one of the most important places that you can go to find water that is purified and products that will help your longevity and your overall health. Visit waterandwellness.com to learn how you can take control of your drinking water and learn about those natural additives to optimize your health and longevity. Contact Stacy at 877-296-6880. Use the Ageless code and you'll get a 20% discount on all your products.
My love for you is immeasurable. My respect for you immense. You're ageless, timeless, lace and fineness, your beauty and elegance.
Hello, everybody. This is Michelle Hughes from Ageless and Timeless. Today, I am lucky enough to be in Bend, Oregon, where I've had two podcasts this week. One with our guest today, Amy Hyde, who actually is sitting in New Jersey, and her spa that we're going to hear all about today. And then a couple of days ago, I was fortunate to meet with and interview the general manager of Pronghorn, the resort that I am staying at. So this is our Bend, Oregon week. And if anyone has been here, you know that Bend, Oregon is a very special spiritual place. And I kind of described it like Kauai in the mountains. I don't know if anyone has been here and felt the same way. Anyway, today our guest is Amy Hyde, and Amy and I have met each other through actually the internet, and we kind of resonated because we both are aligned in our beliefs and our thinking about health and wellness. And so I invited her to be a guest today and to share with us some of her journey and why she is ventured into doing what she is doing, which is the CEO and founder, one of the founders of Mindful Waters. And Amy, good welcome. And could you tell us how you came to be the person that founded this beautiful spa in New Jersey? And I forgot the name of the town. What is the town?
Northvale, New Jersey, in northern Bergen County, very top, right over at the Jersey border.
Yeah, so it's the nice part of New Jersey, right? Not very.
Yes, exactly. It's there are lovely spots of New Jersey, and this is one of them. Yeah,
exactly. No, I was telling Amy that I had spent some time in Fort Lee, and I got to drive around a little bit while I was there, although the weather was inclement. So my trips were abbreviated, but I did get into New York City, of course. That's like a hop skip from Fort Lee. So Amy, tell us about you. Why are you doing what you're doing today? What is it that led you here?
Yeah, well, thank you first for having me, Michelle. It was really wonderful to meet you as part of the community out there. I love the work that you're doing, and I was, so excited by it, and I wanted to reach out to you and connect with you, and I really appreciate you extending yourself back. That meant a lot to me. Thank you.
Well, you are so welcome, and it's always wonderful to find a kindred spirit.
So, I mean, that brings us to where we are. Life is funny, right? You start one path and then, brings you to another one. As I like to tell everybody, I'm kind of on my third life right now. It's wonderful. It's freeing and it's exciting. So, at a certain age, things don't need to be over. Things can be just beginning. And for me, this is, I think, my opportunity to try to give back to the world. So I was focused on other things earlier. So I grew up in Michigan. I'm a Midwestern girl, and always was in and around the water, summers on the lake, and lived right by the water. I was a big swimmer, skier, athlete, and I went to a wonderful college in Ohio, of all places. It wasn't really where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to the East Coast, but my father, who was a former football player, connected me with this wonderful coach at Kenyon College. Kenyon is a really special spot. Just a little aside, there was a movie called Liberal Arts, and Judd Apatow. It's basically a love song to Kenyon, and it's a movie, if anybody, it's kind of fun. Zac Efron's in it too, and Allison Janney, who are also graduates of the school. But it's a special spot, and they had this amazing swim team, and I had the pleasure of swimming for Jim Steen, an amazing guy. He really is probably the best, most successful coach ever. And if you look at statistics, and not too many people know about him, but he actually brought the men's swim team to 33 straight national championships.
Wow.
As he had started the men's team, he wanted to begin a women's, and that's where my father did the connection. And I went down there to start the women's team for him. And our freshman year, we went off to nationals, and it really wasn't even the NCAA then, it was the AIAW. Women weren't in the NCAA. And we're sitting there at the end, and we'd done okay. We were like 44th. There was 5 of us. It was our first year. And he made us sit through the end. We're cold, we were tired, we were driving everywhere, self-funding. We wanted to go home. And he said, no, you're gonna stay here and you're gonna watch this, be awarded, right? You're gonna see the championship trophy be awarded. I think it was Hamlin the year. We're like, coach, we wanna go. And we were like, why? He said, because you're gonna be there in 3 years. And I want you to see what it's like. So we actually were there in 3 years. So he said we would be there in 4. We were there in 3 years. But he was really an amazing person, and always testing new modalities and ideas. He had us dryland training. He had us, looking at our nutrition. We were on protein diets, we were carb loading, and it really goes to his success. I mean, he knew that it was more than just hours in the pool and training, that we had to be healthy, individuals. One of some of my famous or favorite stories is, we were swimming and training and studying and exhausted, and the men and women trained together. And he looked at us and he said, you guys just look terrible. Get out of the water. This isn't doing you any good. So up on the deck, we're like very confused. Up on the deck, lay down, hands down, palms down on the deck. We're all looking at one another. What is going on here? He turns the lights off in the auditorium and he says, I'm going to show you how to swim. So he got out his stopwatch and he went through the motions of a 50 free, ready and go, glide, full extension, up the surface, stroke, 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 turn, glide, breathe to the end with the stopwatch. He said, that's what it feels like to swim, the proper time. And so he knew, this was in the early 80s, and sports psychology wasn't even a category of psychology yet. So he was really focused on our visualization and brain training, right? It's to really be focused and to achieve something. It's done in a complete manner, not just one way.
How that teaching influence you today? How has that carried through in your life?
So what we learned with that is that also rest was a big part of it. And so it wasn't just hours in the pool, it was rest, it was visualization. And I learned that you had to have a goal in your head. I saw that once you had that, you could achieve it. Some crazy, small little team, you can go from 44th to 1st in 4 years. And that it was the importance of rest. It's not just about being healthy, is not just about being in the gym. Being healthy is not just about, running longer, more hours training, that you actually need to value sleep, nutrition first to truly be a successful athlete.
And interesting when you said that you were carb loading and you were doing protein diets, how these are all been the kind of fad diets for not only athletes, but for everyone else. over these years. So what have you settled on today as the diet or the food program that best serves your health?
Well, actually, I sort of instinctively do I like to say condensed eating instead of intermittent fasting. So I try to control, I don't snack all day long. I be thoughtful about when I'm eating and how much I'm eating. I do quietly calorie count, but with that, it has to be good calories. So it's not just, I'm thoughtful about what I eat. But it's, I think that those, and I also know that if I do jump onto sort of too controlled of a pattern, and I don't stick to things that I like, if I deny myself too much, I can go off the rails. So I have to be careful to, listen, if I cheat, I have what I want. If I want that muffin, I eat that muffin. I just remember that I eat that muffin, and I eat less later on in the day.
And exercise a little more, right?
Yeah. It's funny because I've gotten to less exercise. I am so active now. I'm not behind a desk anymore. So much of my exercise is either out in the garden or here working or walking or, and I'm just constantly moving. So that becomes the biggest. And I therapy's here.
So Amy, if you were giving us a sample for a typical day of your dieting, I hate to use the word diet. So let's just say your nutrition. So what would a typical day be like for you? How would you start your breakfast, and then what would happen from there?
Well, I have started using supplements. So and I feel like that gives me sort of the basis to, if, at least I have that done. So if I don't eat the best every day, I've taken care of my basic nutrition. So I get up in the morning and I start with the water. I always take magnesium. That is very important to me. It keeps me from cramping. I'll take a vitamin D. I take a B12 now. And I've been taking a whole food supplement for years, for the last 5 years. And I think that has made me very healthy, recover faster. I've had a few injuries, broken bones from exercising, from being hit or, an accident. And I just recover fast. I don't get sick. And then, for me, I'm a coffee girl. So I drink my coffee in the morning. I'll have a very light lunch, and then a whole, a full-blown dinner with a salad and 2 vegetables. And I do eat meat, or fish. Red meat only 2 times a week, and the other time fish. I don't eat a lot of chicken. But
I know. What is it about chicken that everybody's now getting a little bit turned off? What turned you away from chicken?
It's the manufacturing process of chicken. So and yeah, that's
I want to pan the chicken companies, but honestly, if it isn't not grass fed, but if it isn't organic and the chickens are not pasture raised, why would you want to eat something that was cooped up, right? And it's fed it's the same thing for cows, right? Why would we want to eat the hormone intense diet that is given to cows who are not allowed to roam? So my rule of thumb is stay away from chicken if you can. Eat turkey is actually a little cleaner, isn't it, Amy?
I love turkey. It's funny you say that. Yes.
Yeah, and then in the beef, I only eat beef a couple of times a week as well, but I always eat grass fed and organic. So I don't know how do you feel about that?
Yes, I mean, you can feel it when you're not eating a good quality beef. I feel it the next day. So it's very important to understand.
Because the cows that are being injected with hormones to make them grow faster, that means you're getting those hormones. Or if they're eating corn, you're getting the grain, which is going to make you, instead of having protein, it's going to make it more carb, because you're getting the grains and you're getting the water that's unfortunately corrupted, right, by groundwater that they drink. So, I mean, there's just so many issues for us to think about if we're going to take responsibility for our own health. And I just like to say, let's figure out a way to simplify it, right? So that it isn't so over daunting and overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so you're doing this right thing.
For me, when I go shopping, one of the things I try to be conscious about is not buying anything that's packaged, even if it's meat. So I'll go behind the counter to get the meat. I'll buy the fresh vegetables. And really, it's twofold. One, to reduce the plastics and the packaging in the world. You know, I think that we have an opportunity at, you know, every little footprint counts, and we're very thoughtful about that. And you know, just everything that is behind the counter is fresher. So that's sort of my trick when I go through the grocery store.
So do you shop in the regular, like the Safeway type or Foodland or whatever you have there? Do you shop in those stores, or do you go to more of the specialty stores like Whole Foods or you know, maybe even health food stores? Which is your preference?
I mix it up. I really do. We have a Whole Foods that just opened by us. We had an organic store that's been here for 30 years, but they didn't have good beef, so or meat. So I was ordering that online. So it's really a mixture of things. Again, I just try to be thoughtful about each place that I am, and yeah, get the freshest available.
You know, when I was staying in Fort Lee, we went to this Italian neighborhood. Well, you probably know where I'm talking about. And we went to this store, and it was the best, the freshest meat and fish and all, you know, wonderful breads and organic vegetables that were not wrapped in plastic. Like you said, it was almost like going to a farmer's market, but you were in a store. Do you know the place I'm talking about?
That one I don't know, but there's a very dense Korean population here, and they have worry markets here, and their fresh produce is wonderful. But that said, I have a tower garden. I'm using the aeroponic system to grow my lettuces, and during the winter it was wonderful. I had the freshest lettuce, and I actually had somebody from Worry coming over here and from the organic store eating my lettuce. So I just replanted it. It's all gone right now.
So you can grow that lettuce in the wintertime.
It's unbelievable. I planted it on January 11th, and I was eating beautiful salads by March 4th. And I mean, I had nasturtium flowers in it, violet flowers in it. I had butter lettuce, I had romaine, I had all sorts of kale. So it was great because it was a full, instead of buying a head of one type of lettuce, it was a full mixture of full leaves.
Yeah. This is something that I'm offline. I need to find out from you because I am into gardening and being more after the coronavirus issues. I think a lot of us became very concerned about self-reliance and you know, being able to sustainably live if we didn't have everything available to us, or we just didn't want to go to the store. So, okay, let's talk about Mindful Waters. Why did you name the spa Mindful Waters?
Well, water is a big part of it. I'm here by these grocery stores for the sole purpose of trying to provide fresh, clean, delicious, healthy water, locally sourced, which reduces the carbon footprint, and all in reusable containers. So I think that, you know, I know you're in real estate. I've been a part of that too, several homes. And we tend to think about putting in the best stove and the best refrigerator before we put in a water filtration system. And
that's right.
I think it should be the number one thing that people do when they start building out a house. If you're going to invest in your house, it's not that expensive. You will save money, you will improve your health, and all the municipal water systems, even New York, even Grosse Pointe, Michigan, which is wonderful, should have a water filtration system in their home. Right. And just to remove these single-use bottled waters, I think we were all kind of thinking it was ridiculous. I guess have only been around for about 20 years, right? When it started popping up, like bottled water, people are buying bottled water, right? That was kind of a joke. Now it's the #1 beverage. And it just sort of, it just blossomed. It's one of those things that just becomes sort of a habit, and we roll through without stopping and thinking about it too much. So Mindful Waters is about being mindful about the water. We're 99% water by molecular count. We're 70-something% water by volume. It's also Achman's razor. You know, my son, who is a philosophy major at Michigan, reminded me sometimes the most obvious things are really things that we should be paying attention to and we dismiss. So that's why Mindful Waters. And then the other star of the show here are the float tanks. And obviously those have to do with water too. Yeah, that was where the name came from.
So, okay, so let's talk about the float tanks, because not everybody understands the value of using a float tank. And then some people are intimidated by the idea of being enclosed like that. So could you give us a little bit of the science and the technology, and then maybe you could even show us, if you wouldn't mind?
I'd be happy to. So just a brief introduction. Float tanks have been around. They were created really in the 60s by Dr. John Lilly. He was a neurologist, and he was playing around with actually trying to talk interspecies, which is kind of an odd thing. But with the float tanks, it created a way to sort of replicate the room and isolate yourself and get to a state where you're not encumbered by your physicality. If you think about it, the whole practice of yoga was just to get your body fit enough so that when you meditated and you went away and you reached those different levels, that you didn't feel your body anymore. So the float tank allows you to do that in a very quick way. You're actually floating in water, and which is Epsom salt, which supports you from underneath. There's 1,200 pounds of Epsom salt in there. And it's the same temperature as your skin, so you're not feeling anything. You're not seeing anything because the room will go dark, and it also is silent. So if you want, we can take a walk over there.
That would be wonderful. And while you're walking, can you hear us okay?
I can. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just, I'm curious, but with the virus and everyone's so concerned about disinfecting, how do you deal with every single time somebody is using the tank, then you must have to empty it and clean it?
So I'll explain it to you. Well, first of all, here, let's take a look in. So
okay.
Mindful Waters, each experience is separate. So all of our modalities you're doing on your own. We don't even have to administer them. So it's not like a massage or a facial where somebody's working with you. Once we get the experience, you're in your own space. So when we come in now, we wear masks. And we're scheduling no more than 2 people at a time in the space, and we're 2,200 square feet. So you walk into the float. We have float suites. So this room has, let's see if you can see, we have a shower. We have all, everything supplied here, towels, all the shampoos and body washes, and they're all paraben-free, vegan, no animal testing, organic. And then you shower off and you step into a float tank. So I don't know if you can hear this too.
Yeah.
So that's 11 inches of water. So it's very shallow. The temperature is 95 degrees. So it's the same temperature as your skin. And I'll take you in here and see what it's like.
I see a lot of blue.
Yeah, the lights. And sorry, you see. So it'll come out again.
Okay.
But when you go in there, you just lay out. flat on the water, and there's so much Epsom salt that supports you from below. And as we all know, Epsom salts, it's an old, sorry, squeaky door. It's an old modality. The magnesium will soothe your muscles transdermally.
Right.
What I tell people to do when they get in there is just stretch their arms out, sort of balance yourself a little bit to the side, put your hands over your head, and think about yoga. Open up your chest, really extend your body, and just
Right.
out and relax. We give you some neck pillows. Here's one here to support.
I was just about to ask you that. So how do you prevent people from putting their head in the water? And that's the way, right?
You don't need that. I mean, there's so much salt. You know, the specific gravity of the Dead Sea is 35. The specific gravity here is about 75. So
okay.
you don't have to worry about it. People actually do sleep and they'll float all night for a really long float. But what we don't realize is that most of us sleep with pillows, and we walk around with our heads down, and we're looking all the time. So when you lay out and you have the opportunity with no gravity and to completely stretch out, you need some support for your head.
Right.
Yeah. So we give you different levels of neck pillows. There's one like this too, which we blow up and put behind you, and you just get settled. We give you earplugs to keep the salt from getting in your ear. And after the beautiful sound and you can stretch out and relax, then it goes dark. So the tank itself is on a timer and it goes dark. So you don't hear anything, you don't see anything. And this is your time to really meditate, to take deep breaths, 4 in, 6 out, 6 in, 8 out, and just get with your mind and relax. And typically the dark time is 50 minutes, 5-0. But we're busy here on the East Coast, and there's a lot more float spas on the West Coast. And we think one reason why it didn't grow here on the East Coast is because of the time commitment. So what we've been doing is 30-minute floats, because the perfect nap is actually 20 minutes. So I was finding myself rousing during my long floats. So what we'll do now is a 30-minute dark period. And we think that that's just enough time for somebody to really rejuvenate and relax. And then the signal that the float is over is the lights come back on. There's another soundtrack. And then you asked about the cleaning. So after that, the tank is filtered twice after each use. So the cleansing process, first of all, magnesium salts, there's so much magnesium in there, magnesium sulfate, that becomes aseptic and very little pathogens can grow there or anything. So that alone makes it very clean. Then all the water comes out, goes through a standard filtration pool filter. And I can show you the filtration process. Each tank has a filter. And that would catch any hair or anything like that. And then UV light. All the water passes through the UV light twice. So UV light is what we use in our municipal water systems to take brown water and make it drinkable, potable again. UV light kills any pathogen. And then we use peroxide for a final boost, and we track the concentration of peroxide between each float. And that is also another disinfectant.
So what kind of feedback do you get from people who, one, have tried this for the first time and didn't know what to expect, and two, from the old veterans who have been doing it for years? What do you hear as your guidance for how to improve and how to obviously always looking for ways to make it more efficacious? But what's your experience?
Well, we always say there's no downside to floating. So when you get in here, if you're uncomfortable, you get out, right? So there's no lasting, bad experiences. We chose these float suites, particularly because they're not pods, nothing comes down on top of you. So even if you have a challenge with claustrophobia, again, you're in control of your space here. If you're uncomfortable, you get out. So some people on the first float will feel tremendous relief right away. If they have pain or an ache, just taking all that gravity off of you and stretching out. And then sometimes it takes you 3 times to really benefit from it, the meditative piece, because then you know what to experience and you can prepare your mind and you can have that full, quiet, again, the true, the journey with a meditation. So we have people that have been coming regularly, even during this time, because of COVID. They find great relief in it. Maybe they're managing this is something that they do on a regular basis. What they say is it reduces depression, reduces anxiety, it lowers your blood pressure. So it can be something that you find great comfort in. So, again, we let some people come during COVID. Again, it was one-on-one. And, we just spaced things out in between and did extra long cycles.
So what I'm hearing you say is it's for stress release or relaxation, aches and pains because of the water and the magnesium healing powers of the Epsom salt. So those are 2 things. So people who have any issues with muscle aches and pains, or any aches and pains, joints or muscles. And then the second, of course, is just finding that space in our lives where we just veg out and relax and find peaceful. So I know you said
research in Oklahoma. So there's Dr. Justin Feinstein. He's got a float spa lab in the Liber Institute in Oklahoma, and now they have an NIH grant to track your physiological changes as you float. When we were setting up this spa, we said, well, who's building these spas? Is it people like us? What's the largest consumer of float tanks? And it's the military, it's NFL teams, elite athletes are the biggest users of float tanks.
That's
again,
very interesting.
Yes, for all those restorative reasons. The military is using it in their special ops teams with that extremely high stress, and the best special ops performers are one-on-one, right? They're that good, so they're our best people. So they go out, they come back, and they go out, and they come back, and it not only puts a lot of stress on them, puts a lot of stress on the family. So they were seeing incidences of alcoholism and uses of other methods. So they brought in the float tanks to try to help with that, and saw a great result.
And you also mentioned that, because I looked at your website and all the modalities, so I want to make sure we have time to go through everything. So what would your next favorite modality be after the float tank?
Yeah, so one of the things we do even before the float tank, just to do a great transition, we're in what we call our vibe room right now. So our vibration plates. We also have a brain tap bed. And this is a wonderful modality here too. The vibration plates, ours are sonic vibration plates. Sorry, can you see that? I guess so. And this is basically a standing massage. But the interesting thing about the vibration plates is, it's really about the circulatory system and moving all the fluids in your body. So our heart and our veins and our arteries, it's only 30% of our circulatory system. 70% of our blood is in the microtubules. So our heart isn't strong enough to impact those. So we're reliant upon our movement. We're reliant upon gravity to move all those fluids in our body. This device actually is the first exercise device, right? Remember those old belts and old vibration plates, right? You think of the late 1850s. The Russians, the astronaut program, the cosmonaut program, elevated it to this level. They saw that when their cosmonauts were up in space for a long period of time without gravity, their circulatory systems were shutting down, their muscles were atrophying, and their bones were losing density. So you don't have gravity, you can't get friction, so you can't get any type of, you know, movement or strength training up there. So they employed sound to stimulate the body, stimulate the bones, the muscles, the circulatory system to keep things moving. So that's kind of how this evolved. But they're very subtle looking. You stand on them for 10 minutes. You actually burn calories because of the micro contractions. You can put it on a specific frequency. Each frequency impacts a different muscle group. So let's say you have an injury in your shoulder, we can set it to that frequency, and you can do some exercises which will stimulate the repair of those muscles in that spot. Typically, we use it as a full body massage and a great transition into before you go into the float tank. Just a great way to relax.
What was the chair that you just showed us? And you said a brain cath. What is that?
Yeah, so this is brain tap. This is actually in an anti-gravity chair, which is when they do the research on the float tanks, they use this as the controls. You can see here. And so this pushes back and it takes all the pressure off your body. So this alone is really great. If we have clients who come in that are having problems with sleeping, this solves problems very quickly for them. They just get relaxed, and we you know, have them in Delta pretty quickly. But the brain tap is an app. You have a headset. I'll show you here. I hope I'm not moving around too much. So the headset has a little visor that comes down. It flashes a blue light. There's binaural beats here with the headset. So you get the soundtrack in each ear. Dr. Porter is the man who developed Brain Tap. He's a PhD, and he'll take you through brain training. So this goes to the whole, you know, focusing and visualizing and perhaps setting intent before you go in to float. So if you want to think about relaxing, sleeping, maybe you're got some grief, you've lost a loved one, we have different soundtracks that can address and help you.
I love this. This is so unusual. And I know you said you had a far infrared sauna as well.
Yes. So if you do the whole circuit, we can do, here's one of the far infrared saunas. This is actually full spectrum, near, mid, and far. It also has the chromo light therapy. So you can, this also has wellness aspects to it. Each color impacts a different chakra, but also sets a different mood. The turquoise we were using a lot during COVID because it is antiviral and it builds your immunity. So, but that's a wonderful way. The difference is with the infrared saunas, a traditional dry sauna is it starts at 160 to 200 degrees. It's an ambient temperature, right? So there's a fire or something that heats up the air, and you go in there and you're getting hot because of the air. With the infrared, it's radiating the heat that we have inside us. We're all infrared. If you think about it, at night vision camera, it's reading the infrared that we're emanating. So it heats you up from within. The ambient temperature gets only as high as 150. So it's easier to be in there longer because you don't get the respiratory challenges.
You're making me very jealous because I have a power plate and I have a far infrared sauna, but they're not anything like what you just described. Oh. And so I guess the technology has advanced quite a bit since my purchase. But anyway, I do believe in everything that you're saying because I feel the benefits. Every time you come out of that sauna, you basically detox your whole body, correct?
Oh, you feel so great. And of course, we give you tons of water before you come in. You have water after, so you're really flushing through things. And you feel, you don't have to have gone for a long run. Maybe you're a little sore, but you feel so great after.
Yeah, the endorphins have
Going
kicked
for a
in.
long run without
Yeah.
the soreness of the run.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does stimulate your endorphins for sure. There's no because it's heat, and you're also releasing all the bad guys.
Right, right. And then this is our last piece, and we always end with it. So this is our cryo tank.
Oh.
So here you can get to -130 to -200 degrees. It's a quick 3 minutes. It's the only modality that we actually have to be with you. Everything else, we introduce you to it and you experience it on your own. This one we actually administer. It's taking a little while, it won't open up here, but it's really easy. You just step in. We adjust the height with some pads, and you can see those. And then your head is out the top, and we talk to you the whole time. And we always say, listen, we're not here to torture you. If you're uncomfortable, you get out. We ask you constantly during your session, are you okay? This is how much time you have left. Do you want to stay in? This is not about, proving you can do something. This is about being there and experiencing it. And, it really feels amazing when you get out.
And what are the benefits of the cryotherapy after you've done the entire sequence of what you just showed us?
Yeah, so everything else we did is really kind of relaxing, right? It takes you in a very gentle way. This is re-energizes you. The benefits of the cryo are, it's great for collagen growth, so it's wonderful for your skin. It's anti-inflammatory. So what happens is all of your peripheral circulatory system contracts. It pushes the blood to your core. So you're going to get more oxygenation of your blood because it's all pushed to the core. You also get greater nutrients from your blood. And then when you come out, it just releases it. So there's, different ways. The hot and cold is again, ancient modalities. There's been a lot of research on the benefits of that. This is just done in a different way. It's easier than a plunge pool, I can tell you that.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are nervous about going into that cold. It's like even taking the benefits of taking your hot shower and then turning it on ice cold every day. You can do that at home. It's just wow. Going to that cold is a challenge. So when people first get in, are they overwhelmed by the cold of the cryo, or?
Well, it gets colder. You get in. It's about -80, and then over the 3 minutes, it gets colder. I think, like anything, it's a dry cold, so it really is easier to sustain than a plunge pool for sure. And it's going to get you colder than a shower, and it's all over, and it's more intense, so it's easier, I think, to stay in than a shower even. So I just had 2 ladies in here the other day, and it feels amazing. I love it. So we end with this because it's anti-inflammatory. So we want to have those lasting benefits when you leave, and it also energizes you.
Okay, so I know we're going to run out of time. So let's talk about the product lines, because I know that's really important, and our viewers may want to order from you. Many people that are viewing this today will not be able to come, at least not in the current times, into the spa itself, but they certainly can order products from you. So let's take a few minutes and talk about what they can get from you and what they do for you.
So we carry just a few select items. They're all natural. We're really focused on, no fragrances, no animal testing, and, we have a few supplements and skincare products. So we have honey from Colorado with CBD in it, which is pretty terrific. Some adaptogen tea, and then our supplements. We use a lot of the oregano oil spray. We use that in the saunas in between uses to disinfect the air. And that's a really wonderful thing to have at home too, in your car or anything, particularly during these times. We love oregano oil. And they have this wonderful skincare line, which is new here, but beautiful, called Nina by Labruna Skincare. He's a plastic surgeon, Labruna, in New York City, and this is his daughter has started this line, and it's beautiful oils and body scrubs. Sorry, little camera.
And this is all on your website, Amy?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
And,
Okay.
And we would like to offer, you know, a 20% discount to anyone with using an Ageless code.
Ageless code. That's fabulous. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And then this is a really terrific salve we have as well. This is called McShay. And we like CBD as a salve.
Yeah.
It really works if you have a sore you know, muscle, if your feet are sore at the end of the day. It really is wonderful. This one has arnica in it and magnesium and CBD, and it's a pretty special blend. And I have a few people that are here regularly knocking on the door for their next
for the McShay. Well, the good news, I know you had said you were sending me a care package, and I'm going to do, since our video is live usually 4 weeks after we tape today. So by the time I can go live with this video, I could be a testimonial because we can add that in. So I'm really looking forward to trying some of these products because, you know, I'm a good victim.
It's perfect. That's great.
Yeah. So so the McShay one really interests me. The oregano definitely, because that's so timely. And of course, of the cosmetic line, you can never have enough of the sampling to try new lines of products.
Yeah, the body scrub is amazing. So you're going to enjoy that.
What's in the body scrub that makes it so good?
It's it uses rose and it just gives you this wonderful oily, you know, beautiful shine after the use of it. So
I love that. I love that. And then you mentioned that you have Juice Plus and that you have some cleaning products. So cleaning products today, I segued around that, but the cleaning products seem to be everyone's hot button. So why don't you take a moment before we go to tell us what they are and why they're so good?
Well, you'll see something familiar there, a little ketone water, which I know you know about, the ampules. We also take those. So
I use Quinton every day, and of course, Water and Wellness, as I've told you, is one of my sponsors. So I highly recommend the Quinton. I know that people who have never tried it will be so smitten once they experience that Quinton. But I'm so glad. I can't actually see it.
Oops, sorry.
On this.
There
we go. Okay, so do you have the hypertonic or the isotonic?
I believe it's a 0.90. So I think, isn't that the hypertonic?
Well, it says on the box, which it is. I can see, but the hypertonic is full dosage, and the isotonic is diluted. Either way, they're both good. But I always, So I told you we can get you get you into Water and Wellness and get those for you as well. Okay, so so the cleaning products, what's the name of them?
Supernatural. And
okay,
you can find these online. It's all natural essential oils. They ship you the glass bottles, and then the concentrates, and then of course we use our wonderful water to fill it up. But they use basil and lavender and
do they combine it with
all
like
sorts of
and is it like vinegar or hydrogen peroxide?
No, this one doesn't have hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
Enough, the glass cleaner uses a little cornstarch in there to get the cleaning.
Oh, okay.
They have a stainless steel cleaner, a floor cleaner, a countertop cleaner.
I love that.
Wonderful. It's all cardboard, so that can be recycled. And again, the glass bottles last. They have a nice little plastic bottom on them, or sorry, yeah, some type of soft silicone bottom to them. And they're great products. So I'll tell you something else that I'm in love with now is these bamboo toothbrushes. I encourage everybody to try one instead of a plastic toothbrush. The bristles are finer and work better, and you don't have all that plastic in your mouth anymore.
Oh,
so,
cool. I love that.
And we're not putting the plastics in the you know,
into the environment.
Exactly. We also carry essential oils. I would encourage people to sort of explore that. A story with a friend who had her father in the hospital, and he was at HSS, a nice hospital here in New York City, having some hip replacements. She brought her diffuser in for her father, and all of a sudden he started getting better care from the nurses. And it kind of makes, right? Because this room smells so good.
Yeah, because he smells so good. Yeah.
So I mean,
Amy,
it really does.
Yeah, Amy, I'm so sorry, but my studio has alerted us that we've run out of time. This is always what happens to me when I have wonderful guests like you. So I'm going to have to cut us short, but I think you've given us an amazing tour and a lot of information and some really fun products as well as healthy products. So I encourage people, would you tell us how to reach you, how our viewers can reach you to order if they'd like to?
Yeah, so please visit our website, mindfulwaterspa.com. We can be reached. Our phone number is there. We can help you with anything. One of the fun things we do are special parties here as well. So if you're in the New York City area, it might even be worth a trip out, and we can again offer you a 20% discount. Any products that you want to give us a call, we can recommend products for you and help you get connected. We're here to try to help everyone think a little differently and include more natural-based products in their lifestyle.
Okay, well, thank you, Amy. You've been wonderful, and we look forward to, I look forward to trying all these goodies that you're going to send me, and then I will add a testimonial on to the live interview when we are producing this 4 weeks from now. So I appreciate everything you've done, and I want to thank you again for taking the time. I know that you're a very busy lady, and we really do appreciate your sharing so much information. Okay, everybody. Well, we had a wonderful day today, a lot of learning, and a wonderful woman to inspire us. So just another chapter in Ageless and Timeless. And I wish you all well and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you. This is Michelle Hughes for Ageless and Timeless.
My love for you is immeasurable. My respect for you immense. You're ageless, timeless, lace and fineness, your beauty